English is not my first language, and welcome to the second episode in discussions around the death penalty, where I will focus on the view of the South African Constitutional Court. According to the Expedition Project, South Africa's constitution, adopted in 1996, is widely regarded as one of the most progressive in the world. It enshrines various principles and rights that promote equality, democracy, and human dignity. It has been nearly 30 years since the death penalty was abolished in South Africa. The judgments were unanimous. The death penalty is inconsistent with the constitution of a democratic South Africa. In today's episode, we journey back to an historic turning point in South Africa's legal and moral landscape. The landmark Makwanyane judgment. I will now read a portion of the Chief Justice's judgment, which is freely available on the internet. However, the entire judgment is over 200 pages long. The Attorney General of Witwatersrand, whose office is independent of the government, contended that the death penalty is a necessary and acceptable form of punishment, and that it is not cruel, inhuman, or degrading within the meaning of Section 11, subsection 2. He argued that if the framers of the Constitution had wished to make the death penalty unconstitutional, they would have said so, and that their failure to do so indicated an intention to leave the issue open to be dealt with by Parliament in the ordinary way. It was for Parliament and not the government to decide whether or not the death penalty should be repealed, and Parliament had not taken such a decision. The rights to life and dignity are the most important of all human rights, and the source of all other personal rights in Chapter 3 of the Constitution. By committing ourselves to a society founded on the recognition of human rights, we are required to value these two rights above all others. And this must be demonstrated by the state in everything that it does, including the way it punishes criminals. This is not achieved by objectifying murderers and putting them to death to serve as an example to others in the expectation that they might possibly be deterred thereby. In the balancing process, the principal factors that have to be weighed are, on the one hand, the destruction of life and dignity that is a consequence of the implementation of the death sentence, the elements of arbitrariness and the possibility of error in the enforcement of capital punishment, and the existence of a severe alternative punishment, life imprisonment. And, on the other, the claim that the death sentence is a greater deterrent to murder and will more effectively prevent its commission than would a sentence of life imprisonment. and that there is a public demand for retributive justice to be imposed on murderers, which only the death sentence can meet. Retribution cannot be accorded the same weight under our Constitution as the rights to life and dignity, which are the most important of all the rights in Chapter 3. Taking these factors into account, as well as the elements of arbitrariness and possibility of error in enforcing the death penalty, the clear and convincing case that is required to justify the death sentence as a penalty for murder has not been made out. As I wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to appreciate the profound impact of the post-apartheid Constitutional Court's majority decision in the 1995-1996 Makwanyane case. This decision was more than a legal milestone. It was a courageous declaration that true justice honors the dignity of all. This moment in our history encouraged South Africa to root its values not in retribution, but in compassion and respect for life. I hope this episode has not only deepened your understanding of this pivotal judgment, but has also sparked a curiosity to explore difficult questions with an open mind. My goal isn't to sway you to one side, but to empower you with the knowledge that allows for thoughtful, informed discussions. Together we can keep asking the hard questions and seeking answers that unify rather than divide. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep growing. Next week, I will open discussion for just as divisive an issue and topic. But until then, I wish you well. Chat soon.